Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Tuesday edition of the Computer America Show. Got a great program planned for you tonight, as we always do. In the first hour, we're going to be talking about crowdfunding and what you can do to, and just looking about the topic of crowdfunding.
1 minute until showtime.
The CEO of Swarm is here to kind of put us on the correct road for that. And, of course, in hour two, we'll have computer and technology news. Brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We'll be starting momentarily. Okay, Joel, one last check. You can hear me and everything?
I can hear you fine, yep.
Excellent. Okay, stand by.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Ben, hey, it's Tuesday. You had school today, too, right? Tuesday?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
What happened?
I don't know. It's like what happened in November.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyway, we got a great show for you tonight. In the second hour, we're going to have computer and technology news. That's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And in this first hour, we're going to be talking about crowdfunding, and what's involved with that. So now, if you have a comment or a question about anything that we're talking about tonight, it's really easy for you to get in on the action. Give us a call at 347-884-8881. 347-884-8881 will get you on, and it will get you through. We also have email, live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. If you're radio shy but still have a question, it's a great way to get in on the action. You can also join us in a live, interactive chat room. Just go to our homepage at computeramerica.com, and right there at the center screen, you'll see a button that says Chat and Live Video. It's under Interact with the Show. Just click that, and you'll see a split screen. On the left will be the live IRC chat room. Just put a nickname in there. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. You can put your real name, too, if you'd like to. It's completely optional. There's a captcha code which verifies that you are a live human being. And then click the Connect button, and your browser will move you right into the Computer America chat room. We have some IRC clients there that just formats it more, to be more visually pleasing. Those are optional. You can use them if you want to on our free software page. And, of course, you can also watch us on our live Computer America video streaming page, and that's right there on our chat room page. Just click that, and you'll be able to see everything. You'll be able to watch us right there. You can see myself. You can see Ben. Sometimes you can see our guests. It's just another fun way for you to interact with the Computer America Show. But the easiest way is to give us a call at 347-884-8881. Okay. Anything else you want to mention, Ben, before we get to...
You still say that. You still say the easiest way is to call us.
Yes, it is.
I don't think so.
What do you think the easiest way is?
I think much like the pizza service in this country, I think going online and, instant messaging and chat rooms and things like that, people are usually 99% of the time anyways, connected to the internet. It's not like, we're back in 1994 when you first started and, people have dial-up. It's pretty much a safe assumption that people are, at their computers.
All right. Well, that's good, too. But you might be surprised how many people just still like using the old-fashioned telephone, picking it up and making the call. And we offer that. Okay.
We offer that too. I'm just saying the easiest way, probably, in Ben's opinion, is probably going to be, the chat room.
The chat room. Okay. All right. Well, we have a lot of fun people in the chat room right now, and we certainly welcome you to join us in the the chat room. So there you go. Some funny links being displayed there. When Stephen Hawking as a theoretical Bond villain. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can go with that.
Bond villain. We'll probably talk about that next hour.
Oh.
And something else I want to talk about next hour is, of course, the new Star Wars trailer that came out last weekend. We didn't get a chance to talk about last night.
No. Okay. Well, we'll do that too. And
I'm
also,
you saw that, of course.
Yeah. And, no, actually, I haven't. I have not seen it. You should have reminded me during the day. I would have done it. The other thing is we have some update alerts too. So we'll announce those. Some software products that you may be using have just issued some updates. So we'll do this. So it's going to be an interesting second hour. But let's get to it now. We're going to talk about crowdfunding. And if you don't know what that is, we'll stick with this. And we'll you'll get an explanation about this. And we're going to be talking about something called Swarm, S-W-A-R-M, Swarm. And according to them, they're a Kickstarter powered by Bitcoin technology. So there's two things. If you're not familiar with crowdfunding, Kickstarter, or Bitcoin, that's actually three things. So we're going to get them all in that first sentence. And Swarm is Kickstarter powered by Bitcoin technology. It allows regular people, as opposed to irregular people, I guess, to fund startups they like. Okay. Now, entrepreneurs raise more faster by engaging with more people. Funders participate in risk and reward. And joining us to explain further is Joel Dietz, the CEO of Swarm. Joel, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
I'm doing great. Especially now I know there's a new Star Wars trailer, so this is pretty exciting. So.
Everyone's excited about that. It's big news.
Yeah, it is. See, a second.
Yeah, no, I'm tempted to leave your show right now and watch the trailer.
Well, you could do that if you want. But really, what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about what it is that you do and some of the concepts that you mentioned. And so let's start off with Swarm. I mean, what is Swarm?
Yeah, I think, it's, if you look at it in the history of sort of crowdfunding, the first wave of crowdfunding is people going out and getting, little rewards or perks for whatever, you put in. So you put in, and there's a really famous example of this, is this Oculus Rift, right? These people went out, they made this VR goggles, and they sold, they raised $2 million on Kickstarter. Some people got these cool VR goggles. Some people only got a T-shirt. Yeah. And then they go out and they sell to Facebook for $2 billion, right? And then those people who participated didn't get anything back. And so we think that we can use this kind of cool, new technology called the blockchain to allow people to issue shares in their project, and then you can actually get some kind of financial returns out of that.
Wow! Wait a minute. You're telling me that the initial investors to Oculus Rift, they put in money, via Kickstarter, and then the company gets bought out for $1 billion or some crazy thing like that?
Yeah, like $2 billion.
$2 billion. That's a billion with a B, dollars, and all those people who invested in the Kickstarter saw squat. They saw none of that.
They got T-shirts, so.
Yeah, that I would be a little miffed over something like that. So.
Yeah, no, I think there are a lot of people who are really looking at this and saying, "Oh my goodness, we're there, where we really care about making these things succeed, but we want to have some portion of the upside of these projects as well when they're successful." So.
But that doesn't seem unique with the Oculus Rift. I mean, the Oculus Rift was just a very popular one that happened to go the other way. But, I mean, there are tons and tons of Kickstarters that kind of either go bust or they go nowhere or they're squandered or what have you, and people really don't have any recourse. Like, they get sent their T-shirt and a thank you card, and then that's it.
Yeah, well, and that's true. And, with startups, and startup investing, 5 of your whatever investments maybe go bust. but one of them may be the next Facebook, and so you end up making a lot of returns off of those ones that do very well. And right now, there's no way for sort of normal, ordinary, whatever, regular people to participate. It's something that, according to the U.S. federal law, something that only people who already have a lot of money can participate in. So.
Wow, that doesn't sound good. I mean, it's good for the it's good for the company, but not for the investors.
No. I mean, it's really a shame that I think there's been this huge movement in crowdfunding, and a lot of positive energy behind it, but it keeps running into these walls. Partially because there's this sort of way that the U.S. government has regulated certain types of things, and said that ordinary people can't participate in the best types of projects.
Right. I mean, venture capitalists, obviously, if you're a venture capitalist, you invest in the company. Certainly, you're going to make, and the company gets bought out. You have an investment of some sort in it. You have stock in the company. They get something. But just by participating in the Kickstarter funded project doesn't mean you're going to get anything. You have no true investment. So is this one of the things that Swarm intends to change to the traditional approach to crowdfunding?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple different ways that we can change it, and some of them are easier to do than others. A lot of them really, to be perfectly honest, require a lot of lobbying on the behalf of the government to say, look, like there's people who really want this, and right now the system is set up in such a way that, like I said, ordinary people just don't have, they can't participate. It's something that's only for the whatever 1%.
Right.
And I think that's a tragedy, it's like our real goal as sort of our mission to change that and make it more accessible.
Explain the mission in more detail. How do you intend to let investors in crowdfunding get more than just the T-shirt? I mean, they're going to be buying stock in the company? What's the plan with Swarm, I guess?
So there's a few different types of projects, we're doing right now, and it's a sort of evolving thing of what we're able to do. But the technology is actually very simple. So it's reasonably simple. So there's just something that it's called the blockchain, right? That this is the idea behind all of these cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and all this stuff. But there's this sort of one technology that makes it all possible, and that is the ability to have something that is scarce. There's only a certain number of these things, and then they're tradable, and then the market can kind of determine the value for those things. So this is something that is kind of reasonably good for currency, but the actual same technology is actually much closer, in the opinion of many people who've been following these things closely, to a stock. It's something that really, it's like having a stock that represents the value of that particular network. And so we're taking that same idea that applies to Bitcoin, and saying, okay, we have this sort of thing that you can invest in that depends on the value of this network, and then using that in other kinds of types of projects that also have network effects associated with them. So like one example of that is these sort of decentralized storage networks. So there's like places where you can go out and basically be paid in this sort of token for sharing out your hard drive and allowing other people to kind of store stuff on it. And this way it's like a little bit like BitTorrent or some of these other technologies. But then there's actually this incentivization layer so that basically you can go out and make money basically by doing this. And other people can invest early in these tokens, and then when they go up in value, then they basically get their money back. Or actually make money off of these things. So that's kind of like the first wave of these things.
Okay, so you're using Bitcoin to finance the investment initially rather than cash, and because it's Well, in other words, let's say we have let's say I have a project X. Okay, just call it X. And this is this really cool thing called project X that I want to get money, and I want to put it out there to see if I can get some money to make my project. And it's going to cost me I need $100,000 in financing to get X off the ground. So I go to Swarm rather than Kickstarter. Do I go to Swarm first rather than Kickstarter and say, hey, I got project X here. I need to raise $100,000. Would I go to you first, or would I go to Kickstarter first?
I mean, you could go to Kickstarter, or you could go to us.
Okay.
If you have something that really and depends on long-term engagement, or you think there's really a significant sort of upside potential for your users, and you want to encourage that, then Swarm is really a better choice than Kickstarter is.
Okay. So am I going to get my money? Am I going to get my investment money of $100,000 in the same way, or am I going to offer stock in my company to the initial investors in addition to maybe a T-shirt or something? How does that work?
So it's like a new form of stock in some way. So it's not issuing stock in your company. It's issuing stock in your project, so to speak, which is a little bit tricky to make that mental transition, I guess, of what it is. But it's normally stock is something that appreciates, is kind of fixed and in the company, and then maybe people can actually buy in and sell, once you have an IPO or something like this. And this is something more immediately. It's liquid. It's like doing an IPO from day one.
Okay.
And then everyone has your tokens. They can trade them. They can sell them. They can kind of go up and down depending on the value of your company. And then you can say these tokens, whatever stock, if you want to call it, can potentially get some kind of revenue share, or they can actually be tied to right. That's the most clearest things, the actual profits of the company.
I see. And I understand now. Are these tokens actually bitcoins, or is this going to be a cryptocurrency that you're developing at Swarm?
It's every project has their own cryptocurrency, basically.
Okay.
So,
right.
So it's not bitcoins, but it uses the same technology as bitcoins.
Okay. All right. No, I understand it, and it makes good sense. So if I have my Project X, I'm going to have a Project X, coin of some sort, and it's only related.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's only related to my Project X coin. So if all of a sudden I have these Project X coins, and Facebook decides to buy my company out for $1 billion, and I have Project X coin, my Project X coin is going to go up in greatly, is it not? It's going to go up directly to proportion of the money that's coming into the company.
Yeah, and those are kind of legal things that are require work on our side to get them so that you can go out there and actually link the actual Project X coin, so that Project X, the company, is forced to actually buy up these Project X coins when there is some kind of liquidity event like Facebook buying the company. Which is taking a lot of time.
Yeah, but if I have if I have 100 X coins, from company X through Swarm, and the company gets bought out for $1 billion, my 100 X coins are going to increase exponentially. I mean, it's directly tied into the value of the company, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well that's cool, and that's something different. I have not heard anything like that. So how is the project going so far? I mean, what are some of the challenges you've experienced while developing your company?
Yeah, well, I think we knew that the legal space was very challenging because there's a lot of nuances around these things, and when something is a stock of sorts, we call this stuff crypto equity actually. Early on, there's potentially a lot of regulations that apply to it. And when we started, we were in Europe, so there was one set of regulations that apply there. Actually, it's very different depending on the country. And here in the U.S., there's a bunch of different, regulations that potentially apply. and actually some of these things, it depends on the state. So basically, it's a huge, complicated thing because it's very unclear what regulations apply to these things, and so that to a certain degree that prevents us from bringing on certain types of projects because well, we don't know what the regulators are going to say later on, and it just creates uncertainty, and the legal system just doesn't evolve at the pace of technological evolution. So it always is a bit behind, so to speak.
But
I think that side of it is a big issue.
But couldn't that kind of work to your advantage? Like, not saying that you should, kind of go under the radar, but you could probably get some of these, projects in and out the door before legislation catches up to you.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question, and this happens with some, governmental whatever agencies, and they say, okay, well that wasn't legitimate, and later on, and it really depends, I guess, on the governmental agencies doing the enforcement and types of things. So that's definitely feasible. We've been fairly conservative about taking, trying to create a lot of clarity around these different types of offerings, but that may ultimately turn out to be foolish if we can't actually get that clarity. So.
Okay, all right. So, so now, how far away are you to actually making this go live and getting it actually started?
So actually, the really cool thing here is that we went out in June and July of this year, and we said, oh, this is such a good idea. We could raise venture capital in some traditional way. In fact, we had some term sheets sitting there, but it would be so much cooler if we actually went out and did it ourselves. That's the kind of dog fooding idea. So we did, and we raised $1 million, $1 million, basically doing our own coin sales. So we sold these Swarm coins that give you special benefits within Swarm, kind of like a membership, but it also has these sort of distribution aspects and early access to projects. And then, so that was sort of our first launch was actually there because we basically used our own platform in order to build our own platform, which was fund our own platform, which was pretty meta and cool. And then we did another kind of more Kickstarter-ish project in September, which was a comic book that's supposed to explain how Bitcoin works. Mm-hmm. A bunch of people, 200 people, participated in that. And now we just launched another couple projects a couple weeks ago. So we have a pretty large pipeline of kind of projects, and they're all going. And there are a lot of things that we would like to see that is like we're talking about, linking that stuff to be so that when someone buys out a company, they can get something back. Is something that we're spending a lot of effort on, but it's kind of slow relative to the technology. But basically, it all works. So, I mean, you can go out and do that. You can show up on our site, swarm.fund. You can go out and get your first, crypto equity or your own coin. And, in fact, we even, because it's crowdfunding, we even support, credit card payments and stuff. So if you don't have any other kind of, cryptocurrency and you want to get, your first feeling, you can go out and, show up and buy, $1 worth of, one of these projects. And then you'll have your first cryptocurrency.
Ah, okay. So in other words, you're really up and operational now. You're saying you're actually.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So how many?
So yeah, we've been.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we've been iterating. I mean, I don't know. We've been iterating pretty rapidly on the stuff.
So how many projects or how many crowdfunding projects do you currently have at Swarm at this point?
I think we've finished 2, and now we have 3 active, and we have 3 more that are supposed to be launching in the next couple weeks. So, yeah.
Now, how does Swarm? How do you make money? I mean, how does Swarm make money? You get these people that are they paying? Do you get a piece of the action, or do they just pay you? I mean, how does Swarm make money?
Swarm, makes money in its way similar to Kickstarter or other crowdfunding sites by taking a little bit out of the incoming funds for the projects. So that we have a sort of, it's actually somewhat negotiable in the sense that like it's some accelerators and it's like equity-backed guarantee. So if you don't like the service, then you basically don't have to give them whatever the equity. And we have a similar thing. So our fee is like if you feel like our service wasn't worth it, then you don't actually need to pay. So.
Okay.
But.
All right. Okay. But again, I'm not clear on that. Does Swarm get a percentage of the company X that they're doing this, or do they pay you a flat rate? Or I mean, what kind of arrangements do you have?
It depends on how much they raise. So if they raise $1 million or whatever, $100,000, then our base rate is like 5%. So we would get $5,000 out of that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
If you can get them $1 million, it's certainly worth it. And again, of course, if I'm the guy who's doing this, and I'm selling the crypto coins to my company, I'm also giving them I'm giving these investors a piece of the action. Is what I'm actually giving them, and just not the free T-shirt or the bowl of popcorn or whatever it might be, which I think is now you have why don't you explain the concept of crypto equity a little bit better so I can so we can all understand what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah, so it was like when I first saw this technology, let me take a step back. I mean, in a historical sense, like there's something we all know as a company, right? You talked about companies several times, and there's like a kind of legal template that comes with a company that says like, here's what it is, here's what it can and can't do, here's all the laws that apply to it, et cetera, et cetera. And that's like, what we all know as a company. And then we have this other like category like nonprofits, and then like, okay, here's what a nonprofit is, and it has these other laws that apply to blah, 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 blah. And what we don't really have, and we suddenly start to have, is with this kind of new types of technological development around blockchain technology, is actually the ability to have customizable governance. It's like a programmable governance where we say, okay, I'm going to create a project. That's why I call it project instead of company sometimes. That says that that everyone who contributes $1 or more to the project has one vote, and then that everyone can vote basically on where the funds go for the project or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, is maybe like a kind of simplistic version of that, but like basically I can kind of create the rules and allow basically everyone who participates either as a stakeholder or a funder to determine the direction of that organization in a way that's much more flexible than current governance systems.
No, so it makes sense. Well, I'll tell you what. If you have any more questions or thoughts, or you want to check out Swarm and what it's all about, now that we've kind of piqued your interest, you should give them a call. Or what you should do is go to our website at computeramerica.com, and right there we have our show notes button there. It's right there on our homepage, and you'll see today's show, which is December the 2nd, 2014. And you can read the description, and we actually have a link to the Swarm website, and check it out for yourself. If you're thinking about looking for venture capital, you're looking for a way to get a project off the ground, but you want to do it a little differently than they're doing it with Kickstarter. It looks like Swarm might be an alternative for you to look into, and since they're offering sort of you're offering a piece of your potential company, you might be more inclined to get investors who might actually make money from your company, which is really how stocks were that's the idea behind stocks, and this is sort of the idea behind issuing stock, but without having to do an IPO. And yet you can still get investors to invest in your company, and they'll get a little piece of the action, depending on how you have it set up. I think it's a really novel and it's certainly a different way of doing things. And so if you've been kind of playing or toying around with the idea of starting your company, or you have a project, or you have a product or something you want to get off the ground, you might want to check out Swarm and see what it's all about. Joel, I want to thank you for being with us here on tonight's show and letting us know about Swarm, and best of luck to you with it. And maybe we'll get you back in about 6 months and see how things are growing with Swarm. Okay?
Yeah, that would be great.
All right,
so
Joel.
Thank you for your time.
Joel, thank you so much for being here on Computer America. Have a good evening. Good night.
Yeah. Good night.
No, thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, well, there you go. Swarm. I have not heard anything quite like that. I mean, obviously Kickstarter, some of the other, what's the other one? Indiegogo. None of them offer what he's offering. Basically, you get a T-shirt, you get the first one off the production line, the product, whatever, but never an interest in the company itself, because quite frankly, the company isn't really formed yet. There's no IPO. But here, it looks to me like you can, through this cryptocurrency concept, actually get an investment in the company. If you really like what they're making, say, I'd like to put some dollars in here, invest in it, and if the company grows, your cryptocurrency is going to grow.
Which has always been the idea behind Kickstarter and projects and sites like that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. We're going to have a new News Tips Full of Review from Marty Winston, and we're going to have computer and technology news. We've got some interesting stories coming up. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. This is Computer America.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented Thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Ho, this is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the 180S LED light gloves. Warm meets cool. And these 180S winter gloves start with all 10 fingers being compatible with device touchscreen. Add a little pouch on the back of each wrist that pockets a small rubber capsule containing a pair of coin cells, a controller board, and a switch. Each connects to a white LED in a housing about midway between the index finger's bottom knuckles. You press the button once for a steady light, again for a blinking light, and again turn it off. The gloves themselves are a mix of polyester, polyurethane, spandex, and cotton. Nice and warm and a good snug fit. Bottom line, 180S all-finger touchscreen gloves with built-in LED lights are the warmest and coolest wearable tech we've encountered. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour in the first hour. We just had Swarm. And by the way, for anyone who's interested, yes, the link is always in the show notes as usual, but if you want to try this one, find it on your own. It is swarm.fund, F-U-N-D, one of those fancy new domain names that isn't a .com, .net, .whatever.
Org.
It's a .fund, .org. It's a .fund. So
and that makes sense.
Keep an eye on that.
Yeah, and it makes sense too what they're doing, because I know there's been some chat going on in the chat room about it, and but I mean, you go along with it. I think that it's interesting because Indiegogo and Kickstarter allow you to invest in the company just to get the product first before anybody else, or a T-shirt or something. That's it. But you don't have a vested interest in the company. None of those things allow you to do that. With Swarm, they're actually giving you a vested interest in the company itself, which I have not heard of any other website kind of doing that.
See, but that, Swarm's whole thing makes more sense to me, because really, the thing that you're doing with all these companies on Indiegogo and Kickstarter, what have you, you aren't giving the company money for a product. Like, that's how it works if you walk into Walmart, Best Buy, any retail store, any grocery store, anything like that. That's what you're doing there. You're giving them money, they give you a product, and you call it a day. But what you're doing here is you're, with all these, before it's actually a product, we're still getting started, here's our idea, here's what we want to do, help us fund this. You're paying, you're giving money to the people behind the project to give you a you're giving money to help fund this company, this idea, this person. You're actually giving money to a person. You're not giving money for a product.
Right. Exactly.
That's the difference. And and that's why we see so many Kickstarters kind of fail or go away or blow up or fall through, whatever your verb is. Is they don't think it out through. Yeah, they have a shiny package. Yeah, they have a shiny box with everything, and it looks good, but they don't know what they're doing. So, at least in this case, it really makes it clear that you aren't funding a product. You're funding the person who's going to bring you a product.
Or the company that they're forming.
Or the company that is going to bring you a product.
Exactly.
And beyond that, if it does really well, I mean, you do really well, which is what you want.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like and that is more synonymous to buying stock in a company. And even though the company, which you can't do because these companies are so new, they don't have stock. They haven't issued an IPO, so you can't buy stock. But if you, in this case, because it's too soon. But what Swarm is allowing you to do is, though, even so it's too soon, you can still invest in the quote unquote company. So no matter what they decide to do, if they are successful or if they get bought out or whatever happens, you're going to share in that, and which I really like that concept. So you're not investing money just to get an early product or dinner with the CEO. You're actually getting something of value, and now obviously this would work obviously with a company who's that's going to make a product or a service. I don't know if it would work though. Remember what was the guy with the popcorn? And
no, potato salad. Really?
It was potato salad. Yeah.
You already forgot?
Yeah, it was potato salad.
It was big news.
Yeah, it was big news. Well, now if he had done this by a swarm, did he make enough money? Would people have? That probably wouldn't have worked.
That's the special case. That went viral, and I'm sure he got much more attention than he actually anticipated, because again, his goal was $20. He ended up getting $54,000. So that was like an internet, viral thing. That should never be used as a case study.
Okay. All right. So
like it's not like if he went on Swarm and he got $54,000, he's like, well, I guess now I have to start a company and start a board of directors and start making potato salad for the world at large, huh? It's just potato salad.
Okay, got it. But there are a lot of Kickstarter projects out there which I could see really working well with Swarm. One thing I didn't ask him is if you're already doing Kickstarter, can you bring it over to Swarm to raise to issue currency? I'm not sure if you could do that. I think it's either or. You either go to Swarm or you go to Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I think.
It's very taboo to go to multiple funding websites and do the same project. Especially like you're supposed to know your audience, and at least I knew the main difference between Indiegogo and Kickstarter was Indiegogo was a international, they handled international payments a lot easier, whereas Kickstarter was simply US.
Okay, all right. Well, there seems to be an alternative out there now for those of you who are looking for venture capitalists or looking to raise money for a serious project. You might want to consider Swarm. It looks like it offers a different avenue or a different approach to bringing money into your company, getting funding for it. I'll be curious to see in 6 months how they're doing. If Swarm will become as popular as because everybody pretty much knows what Kickstarter is and Indiegogo. I wonder if Swarm will get that same kind of recognition. Possibly. All right. Well, let's a couple of things. Let's do. I got a quick upgrade alert here. All right. Yeah. Yeah, we have an upgrade alert. Firefox just went from 33.1 to version 34. Okay. So if you have it turned on automatically, you should have no problem getting it, downloading it. Now, actually, we have a news story that talks about what some of the new upgrades are and what the new features are of it. And so I think what we'll do is we'll just do computer news and get that started, and I'll lead with that story. Okay?
Yes and no. You can play the little diddly-do, but we got something else to talk about before that.
Is it newsworthy you want to talk about, or is it part of the news?
Yeah, it's world earth-shattering, earth-moving.
All right, well, let's do it. Okay. Tonight's Computer and Technology News is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system absolutely free. That's right. You go there, everything on that website is completely free. All the utilities are free. The backup software, all of it, it's free. We use them here and do extremely well with them for your Windows-based system. So download them all, keep them in your toolbox, use them when you need to use them or when you want to, but just have them ready to go. You'll be happy you did it, and you'll thank us for it. slimwareutilities.com. Okay, so tell us the earth-shattering news that you want.
There's a new Star Wars trailer out.
Oh, a new Star Wars trailer. Yes, exactly.
And if you were a fan of any Star Wars, you would know that the Empire has fallen in Episode 6.
That's true. Yes, exactly.
So the March of the Emperor, not very fitting. But, yeah, so new Star Wars trailer out. Craig, you should really go see it. Everyone really should go see it. It's Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens. And, it's the first look at what, it's not even like a full trailer. It's like 30 seconds of quick cutscenes and little things like that. And, I mean, it's kind of gives you a feel for what it's going to look like. And at least for myself, I am happy to say that it doesn't look like there are going to be any Gungans, so no Jar Jar Binkses like in episodes 1 through 3. It's grittier, so it's kind of closer to 4 through 6, the original, but it still has that Disney flair to it, where you can tell, okay, yeah, that's probably be made into a toy that they can sell, but it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad.
I have to admit, I haven't watched it yet. And I will certainly, after the show, make a point of checking it out.
You really should. You really should.
What did you think of it? I mean, you saw it, right? What did you think?
I mean, it's it really was because other than the one, Star Wars episode, the Star Wars 1 through 3, everything like that, it's like the first time that, because I wasn't really active on the internet or in any kind of social groups that were interested in Star Wars, it's the first time I'm seeing Star Wars geeks freak out.
Really?
Like they're analyzing this trailer. It's 30 seconds of footage, and they are analyzing the crap out of this thing. I mean, they're going down. It's like, what's up with that lightsaber? Why does it have 3 blades? And what's going on there? And people are like, oh well, the Jedi were completely destroyed. Now they're trying to relearn their craft, and that's why it looks different. Like they're really digging into the the quote unquote lore of a movie that isn't even out yet. Like they're all being theoretical and.
But isn't that part of the fun?
It's fun to see that kind of thing, though.
Yeah, I would think it's part of the fun of it. I mean, you see that you're the consummate gamer. I mean, don't you see people making up things? They see something in World of Warcraft, and they want to know the reason why is because this guy did that or this. I mean, there's an underlying story to all these.
Oh
things.
yeah, no, there always is, and that's what you want to see, especially for something like Star Wars, because Star Wars, it's a genre unto itself.
Right.
I mean, there's science fiction, and then there's the leader of science fiction, which is Star Wars. It's I mean, just the fact that even with a 30-second trailer, it can already inspire that kind of fervor and energy online. It's looking good.
You know what I wonder is because today what second generation now? I mean, when it first came out, it came out in 74.
Technically third generation.
Yeah, it came out in 73, 74. And a lot of people weren't even born when this came out. So now this generation, I guess they either have the CD or they've seen it in the movie, or they've seen the digitized version. They've had to sort of play catch up, haven't they?
Yes and no. I think they made a very special point in saying that you can go into this without seeing 1 through 3, 4 through 6, and still be okay.
Well, because
there's going to be continuity, between episode 6 and episode 7. There's still going to be the same characters, and the story is still going to hang together. But you can go completely, clean slate into this, and still just jump right into the story.
Would you really want to? I would think that if you're going to set yourself up for this, you really want to see episodes. I would say 4, 5, and 6, and then 1, 2, and 3, and then you're ready.
Or even just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can always start with the prequels.
Well, you could. I guess you could. You could start with the prequels.
You probably should start with the prequels.
Yeah, you probably should watch 1, 2, and 3, then 4, 5, and 6, and then of course 7, 8, and 9, which will be respected.
It's you don't have to see 6, 7. But I've never really seen anyone say, "Oh no, don't bother watching 4 through 6. It was a piece of crap. Just don't worry about it." Like. It's a very good story. So yes, go see 4, 5, and 6, but you don't have to get the story.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that that probably makes a lot of sense. And okay, so I guess we're gonna do some news, but let's we got a caller who's listening to us in, I believe, Michigan, who has a question for us. Computer America, Craig Crossman. Hi. How are you? Are you there, caller? 904 area code. Yeah. Are you there?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, 904 is Florida. I'm sorry, man.
Oh, okay. You're right. And that's my mistake. That's my mistake. Florida, North Florida, Jacksonville. Okay, my fault. Anyway, welcome.
They're right next to each other. Michigan and Florida, neighbors.
Sort of connected. Anyway, welcome to the show. How can we help you?
Okay. All right. So, oh man. Okay. So I was told to call back in.
Yep.
And I've just been kind of listening to the show, and so I was told to call back in 12 minutes from now.
Yeah, that's right. We let our guest go a little earlier, so we thought we would.
And you had a comment about the whole Windows 10 thing and where you think that's going.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. All right. So. I don't know if you guys know about this, but I'm pretty sure you do. With Windows 10 in their service agreement, that they are allowed to, within the operating system of Windows 10, to gather all of your keystrokes and basically everything you do on Windows 10 Tech Preview. And one of the things that I really, truly noticed by testing it myself in a virtual machine is that they literally gather all of this information about you and completely turn it around and deliver ads to you in the start menu.
And one thing that I wanted to kind of say, on the air here was, yes, Windows 10 Technical Preview, they are collecting keystrokes. They're collecting, your system hardware, things like that. They're collecting, what kind of programs are you running on it and your keystrokes. But they're doing that simply for the technical preview.
In other words,
yes, absolutely.
The final release won't have
absolutely.
that. Yeah, and I think the reason one of the reasons they're doing that. What's your first name? So I can rather call you. What's your name?
Patrick.
Patrick. So Patrick, I think one of the reasons they're doing that, Patrick, is because they're obviously trying to they're bringing out new features. And as they're doing that, they want to get they want to get information from the people who are using it to see if there are any other suggestions that they can do that they can add to the final product. And this is all part of the process of what they're doing. And this again will only be in the technical preview. The final version, obviously, they'll have that, and they won't have. My understanding is that none of that will be in there. But you're correct. In the technical preview, they are going to gather information. They let you know that they're gathering the information. It might be buried somewhere down in the service agreement, but yeah, they are collecting it.
Yeah.
And what do you feel that they're not entitled? They're letting you use it for nothing. Does this? You're saying this bothers you for some reason?
Or are you just worried that it's going to carry over to the full product?
Actually, on both fronts, I think that it will carry over to some extent as far as XML data being gathered. And in addition to that, for the tech guys in the know that know that this is going on, my God, man, can you imagine somebody like Microsoft having access to your passwords to where you go and what you do?
Well, I don't think
it's kind of scary.
I don't.
I got this one. It's kind of, I mean, first of all, that definitely 100% won't happen. It's Windows, maybe back in Windows 95, 98, they probably could have done something like this if they were, buried in the code, and people would have eventually found it, but back then they really didn't have options of, another operating system. Nowadays, not so much. Their Windows isn't sitting as pretty. Yes, they have a lot of users, but, I mean, they can still switch off. But second of all, I mean, they're collecting the XML data, but they're only storing it on the local computer, and then if something goes wrong, then they send the XML data to servers, to see what went wrong. They're not actually actively monitoring what you're doing on that system.
Have you actually Wiresharked it?
Wiresharked it? No, not myself.
Okay, well,
but the full product isn't even out yet. So how can you?
It does it every 2 minutes and 30 seconds. On every 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it sends the XML data of everything. They're collecting a lot more than what you think.
On the technical preview, because the full product isn't out yet.
I have literally gone through and I have used Python to exploit Windows 10, and in addition to that, monitor what these guys are collecting and it's not good. They're collecting a lot more than what they're leading on to.
Hey, Patrick, let me ask you this something. You're running it as in a sandbox. Obviously, you're running it so you can see everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Are you saying in your extraction of the data that you're capturing before it goes to Microsoft, do you actually see your passwords in that data?
No, because it's encrypted, and I am not. Well, I have not, as of late, been able to decrypt it.
Mm-hmm.
Simply because I just wanted to prove a point, and I'm not worried about trying to decrypt it.
Mm-hmm.
However, I mean, if you think about it, you got to look at the guys and sit there and say, okay, well, yeah, they can totally decrypt it. They got some smart guys working for them,
Mm-hmm.
and they know the algorithms. But the whole thing that I'm getting at is simply this. These guys are collecting the data. They are collecting anything and everything. And I literally think that they are not only targeting tech guys, but at the same time, they're analyzing what we do with TechNet Preview to turn around and sit there and reverse engineer anything and everything.
Patrick, here's what I'm going to suggest you do. Okay, I got a suggestion for you. Okay, on the 15th of this month. Okay, that's a Monday. On the 15th of this month, we're going to have Microsoft.
Yeah.
Microsoft's going to be here on the show. Okay, talking about. Yep. And I would suggest you call, you listen in, hear it, and you'll have an opportunity to speak directly to Microsoft, and you can ask him these very questions, and let's see what he says. And what I would suggest to you is be a little bit more prepared. Try to see if you can get a little bit more information. And when we see you calling, Patrick, on that, we'll let you talk to Microsoft, and let's see what they say. I say let's put it to them directly. Okay?
Yeah, man.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right, so write it down on your calendar. Put the 15th. That's a Monday. It's a couple of weeks from now, and at 10 o'clock we'll have Microsoft on for the full hour. You call in and and then we'll queue you up, and then you can ask them these questions. All right? Compliments of Computer America. Okay?
Yeah, right, man.
Okay, my friend. All right, you take care, and we'll catch you in on Monday. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Good enough. Bye-bye. All right. So we'll see what Patrick has to say when we get Microsoft on the show.
And I really feel like his assertions are probably true. Yes, they're key logging. Yes, they're sending updates every 2 minutes. But honestly, they're collecting data. They're seeing what people are doing. Are they using the keyboard shortcuts? How are they navigating through the system? How are they doing all this kind of thing? Not so much in a what are your passwords kind of way, but more of a hey, what's going on with our system kind of way.
And I agree with you completely. But we'll hear.
Yeah, but I mean, Windows is going to be here. Let's ask them.
Let's ask them, and we'll have.
Let's see if they're taking over the world.
Yeah, and we'll have Patrick calling, and he's marked it down in his calendar, and we'll have him call. All right, we're going to continue doing our computer technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. But I'll tell you what, before we go on to the next story, we don't have enough time to really do it. So let me just take this moment in time to tell you about our contest, our Computer America contest. Our Logitech contest ends this Friday, December 5th at midnight Eastern Time. It closes, so it's your last chance to win this slate of prizes. That's the Logitech HC Webcam C310 for third place, valued at $50. The Logitech G400S optical gaming mouse, beautiful mouse by the way, $60 value. And the grand prize is the Logitech X300 mobile wireless stereo speaker system, valued at $70. And if you win it, by the way, it comes in 4 colors, and you get to pick the color. So head over to our contest page. It's right under there under Interact pull-down menu, and go to the Logitech contest. We now have the registration form directly on the page, right there toward the bottom of the page. It's between the prizes and the official rules. And you can put your name and all the information, even comments. And we welcome your comments, by the way. We love getting comments for our contest entry. So, put a comment in there. Then click that, I think it's brown, submit button, and your entry will be in. And again, you have to Friday at midnight Eastern Time, then when we'll shut it down. Actually, we won't shut it down. What we're going to do is we're going to start a new contest. On Monday, we'll draw the 3 winning names, then we'll announce the 3 winners, and then we'll start a brand new contest. But that new contest won't finish until 2015. That's going to be another 6 weeks. So why wait? Get your entry in now. And a lot of entries are coming in. But again, you can see it all there at ComputerAmerica.com. And of course, our normal contest, which is the show reminder contest winner every Friday. You subscribe to our email newsletter right there on that same page, your first and last name, your email address. Everything, by the way, is private, confidential. We give this information out to no one. Unless you're a winner, then we'll give them your contact info so they can mail you your prize. Our show reminder winner gets, every Friday we award a Logitech T650 rechargeable glass touchpad. Beautiful touchpad. So yeah, it's made from glass, it's rechargeable, it's wireless. It's gorgeous, and valued at $80, $80 for that. And we give one of those away every single Friday. So why not, take advantage of all our contests, enter in all of them. You'll have a lot of fun playing them, And who knows, you might win something really nice. All right, coming up in hour 2, we're going to continue doing our computer technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities. We have another brand new news tip bulletin review from our good friend Marty Winston, and we're just going to continue to do our thing. We're going to talk about that Firefox 34 upgrade and what you will expect to find in it.
Maybe not upgrade.
Yes, you listen to Computer America on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, the IRN Radio Network. We're going to be right back just in a few moments. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@ComputerAmerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we're going to continue on. In the first hour, we had Swarm on the show. We had the company's CEO, Joel Dietz, on the program talking about it. And again, very interesting concept, an interesting alternative to Kickstarter and Indiegogo, in that you actually get, it's not stock, but it's almost as close as you can to stock in a company that hasn't even done an IPO yet. In other words, you get
currency unique to that
company. Yes. So if that company gets bought out by Facebook for $1 billion, guess what? You're going to share in that. That's the premise here. So you're not just getting the T-shirt or the first product to come off the line there. You're actually getting something of value. You're actually investing in a company, and it's a novel way of doing it using the cryptocurrency. If you missed that, you certainly can go listen to it again. We archive all of our shows at Computer America. Just go to our homepage, under actually any page on Computer America. It's right under the pull-down menu. It says Archives. Just click on that, and you can listen to any of our past shows. We have a link to Blog Talk Radio that archives all of our shows. Apple's iTunes also archives all of our audio programming, and so you can download it there. And the idea behind iTunes, of course, you can treat our radio broadcast as a podcast, so you can download it at, even though you're not at your computer, it'll download it to you, and then it'll offload it to a CD or a flash stick, and or your cell phone, and you can listen to our show at your leisure. We have a link to the RSS feed, and our video archives are also archived there on that same page. We have our own YouTube page, and you can see all of our videos and watch them. Everything you need to listen to past shows at our archives page, just under the archives pull-down menu. So, anyhow, again, so right now, Ben and I are doing computer and technology news, and what I did announce was Firefox 34 Just arrived. I believe it was today in the afternoon.
Yep.
And it update. I have it set to update automatically, but it was there. But and there's some interesting differences, and this story from Maximum PC, Paul Lilly says Firefox 34 arrives with Yahoo as the default search engine. So now they have Yahoo as the default search engine, but it doesn't switch automatically. According to him, Mozilla chooses the less obtrusive path. He said, it's the end of the Google era at Mozilla. Firefox 34 is available to download today, and with it comes Yahoo as the new default search partner in the US. However, don't fret if you're not cool with the change. Mozilla isn't forcing Yahoo down anyone's throat. If you're content with whichever search engine is currently your default, Firefox will courteously leave it alone. So there's no need to make any changes following today's updates, which is nice. So if you have a current version of Firefox, what he's saying is that when you want to do a search, it doesn't switch it back over to Google. It leaves it where it is. And if you and I'm just confirming that right now. I have one-click searches. When I type a letter in there, it comes up with a Google search automatically. But there's a little grid that allows you to choose things like Bing or Yahoo or Words, eBay, Amazon, Twitter. You can.
Which search engine to use?
Yes, it'll come up with a little grid, and they're called one-click searches. So you can search any of these sites instantly without changing your default, which I think is very nice. Okay, and it also has smart suggestions in the default search engine as you type, which is nice. But there's also under the little grid, there's a little bar that says Change Search Settings. So you can change it if you like. If you want to start using Bing or you want to use Yahoo or what have you, you still can do that. But what I like is that, as he says, they don't force it down your throat. If you already have a copy of Firefox and you update it, it's going to leave your search default alone. However, if you download a brand new version of Firefox, if you've never used it before, then Yahoo will be the default search engine. And I think that's perfectly fine. I don't have an issue with any of that. Do you, Ben?
Nope, and that's exactly what you want to avoid, especially when a company such as Yahoo, invests that kind of money. You worry, okay, well, they just sold out. And yeah, they sold out, but they didn't sell out as hard as they could have.
No, and I think
it's a reasonable middle ground.
They learned their lesson from Microsoft's Internet Explorer debacle. That was awful.
You say it was a debacle. I don't think so.
Well, basically, they said you had to use their search. You could change it, but they sort of initially
they defaulted, and then they made it pretty much mandatory in Europe.
Yes, exactly. Well,
but you say it was a debacle, but guess what the most popular internet browser was, and still is?
Explorer.
Oh, well, not still is. I think Chrome actually beat them out. Yeah, but yeah, Internet Explorer for a decade.
Yep.
If that's a debacle, I need to make more of those.
Well, let's put it this way: the Justice Department made it into a debacle. They raked Microsoft through the court system and really made a big issue out of it.
You can't make a couple $1 billion without breaking a few eggs.
This is true too.
It's just you're the egg.
Well, Paul Lilly goes on to say, there's no need to change any updates following today's update, because at least that was the case when we updated our browser installs. In multiple instances, Firefox left things alone and simply asked if we'd like to switch to Yahoo the first time we fired up the updated build. It's a pretty unobtrusive way of making the transition, especially since it was previously reported that Firefox would switch over to Yahoo automatically. See, they backed down from that. Okay. Also new to Firefox 34 is the one-click search functionality, which I just described to you. When you type a query into the search field, you'll see a grid of icons appear representing different search engines like DuckDuckGo, eBay, Bing, and so forth. Just click on any one of them to conduct a search for whatever you typed into the field, and it will use that search engine without changing your default, which he says, and I agree with him, it's pretty slick. So Now there are more changes in the release notes. By the way, as I mentioned, the default search engine was changed to Yahoo for North America. The default search engine was changed to Yandex for Belarusian, Russian, Kazakh, and Russian locales. So they made it to Yandex. Okay. There is an improved search bar, and only in the U.S. version. They've improved the search bar. I don't know what they've done to improve it. I have to play with this stuff because I just downloaded it about an hour ago, a couple hours ago. Now there's also something called Firefox Hello, real-time communication client. That looks interesting.
Sounds like a built-in instant messaging service for Firefox.
It's a WebRTC feature in Firefox, and it's in its beta. Okay. It provides more value to Firefox users by making it easier to communicate with your friends and family who might not have had the same video chat service, software, or hardware as you. It's free to make voice and video calls, and there's no need to download software, plugins, or even create an account. It's ready to go as soon as you open Firefox by clicking on the chat bubble icon under the Customize menu. Isn't that neat?
So I guess it's kind of like a Skype, but without the registering.
Hello allows you to connect with anyone who has a WebRTC enabled browser such as Firefox, Chrome, or Opera. He said we should give a shout out to our friends at TalkBox, whose OpenTalks platform is used to power this new feature, and it has some new call options that they've added to this. So you don't need to create an account in order to connect with people that matter to you. You have a contacts integration that you can use as well, and there's a couple other new features, but basically that's it. So for that's Firefox Hello. They've added that new to this iteration of the browser, version 34. You can also easily switch themes and personas directly into the customizing mode, which is good. So it's when you go to the very right, there's that little customizing menu now. You can do a new window.
Whoa! Are you through every single update that just happened to Firefox?
Yeah, I'm just reading some of them here.
Ah, come on.
Okay, Wikipedia search now uses HTTPS for secure, and also here's an issue: you can recover from a locked Firefox process in the Firefox is already running dialog. That's only in Windows, though. And then there's a whole bunch of other performance things and problems that they fixed. And I like that they fixed the full-screen video on Mac disables.
If you could have found a drier article, I could not have found it for you.
I thought it was interesting. Okay. Anyway, there it is.
Because you use it. As for the other 83% of us,
okay.
Don't.
All right, well, there it is. Firefox 34 is here. You should update anyway. Okay, you do it the next story.
The point of that was that if you are using Firefox, you are now not a slave or a drone for Yahoo.
Okay.
Not to go over every single thing.
Yeah, but some of them are interesting. All right, go ahead. Pick it up.
Hit the highlights. Anyways.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't even have one picked up. Okay, how about this one? Apple, speaking about taking over the world, Apple stocks dive, is just a blip on its way to being worth $1 trillion.
That's a trillion with a T. Oh.
Not a B.
Yeah. T.
So how long does it take to lose $30 billion? Less than 30 minutes if you're Apple. So on Monday morning, a huge sudden sell-off resulted in Apple's biggest stock price drop in months. At one point, the world's most valuable company saw about 6% shaved off its nearly $700 billion market cap before recovering enough to cut that loss in half. The temptation when Apple or any company sees this kind of slide is to look for some broad reason for a loss of confidence. But as the smartphone market reaches maturity and competitors struggle, Apple is in a better spot than any other company. The striking thing that Apple at this moment isn't how many dollars lost in one day dip means. It's how the market for mobile technology is coalescing in the company's favor to push Apple's value to $1 trillion. Yeah, I know. Only Apple can lose 6% of its total stock price and then say, oh yeah, but don't worry, they're heading up to $1 trillion. Impressive. So Opinions on the reason for Monday's drop-off range from Morgan Stanley's downgrading of the tech stocks to post-Black Friday blahs to an overreaction by high-frequency trading algorithms. So computers are fighting back, I guess. But traders may also simply be collecting hefty profits after Apple shares surged by more than 23% since mid-October. So that's like a month and a half, and went up 23%. Apple's on the rise.
Yeah.
Good for Apple. And it's that trend line that matters most. If you're still holding Apple shares you bought 5 years ago, your return so far has been greater than 400%.
Wow.
Just 5 years. At that pace, Apple's market cap would hit $1 trillion sometime around August 2016 if it keeps its growth, which there's absolutely no guarantee that it will. It's just, it's been doing well, and if it keeps doing as well, it's going to hit $1 trillion in about a year and a half. It's crazy. So, and another thing that kind of puts Apple, head and shoulders above the rest is that there's no real rival. I mean, there's BlackBerry's out there, but they're struggling. Windows Phone, they're clawing for market share, and then there's Android, who is so segmented that the market might as well be, Android and Apple, like every Android and then every other thing. So it's Apple right now has the largest market share among any individual operating system and manufacturer of phone and operating system. So that kind of leads Apple to be in this mobile technology space that is, I mean, let's face it, when they say reaching maturity, it has reached maturity. Everyone has a cell phone. Everyone has a smartphone. Everyone has a tablet. Everyone has a laptop. What have you? Mobile technology, it's here. It's here to stay. And Apple, honestly, through pretty dang good advertising, kind of put themselves at the head of it.
Yeah.
So, what do you get? It's like, what do you get when you put yourself at the head of the PC market? You end up like Microsoft, who, their CEO is worth $58 billion all by himself, and they own the world pretty much. What happens when you put yourself at the head of the mobile computer space? You end up like Apple, where your company is soon to be worth $1 trillion. It's just the power of technology. So Apple, they did it right, and now they're starting to reap the benefits.
Yep, exactly. And more power to them. Okay. Gosh, you got so many good stories here.
I know, big one. They're all good.
Yeah, they are. They're all good. I'll tell you what. Stephen Hawking. They got a movie now about him, and I'm sort of tempted to see it. I don't know if I'm going to, but it looks certainly. Maybe I'll just wait for it to appear on.
I think in terms of biography, like this will be a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't be as educational as like a PBS story about him, but it's still going to be entertaining, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, now we all know. Well, most of us know about Skynet. Or examples like Skynet. Which basically.
Did you know that there's a new Terminator movie coming out?
No, I have not heard that.
Yeah, I just saw a poster for it. It's like Terminator something with a V.
Is Schwarzenegger going to be in it? As an aging Terminator?
No. Actually, have you seen Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Latest movie?
No, like him in general.
No, I haven't seen him in a while.
He's still bulky. He's still huge.
Yeah, he is.
He's like 60-something, and he could kick anyone's.
I just saw the most recent movie he did with Sly Stallone, and they're both older, but
yeah.
Still, Stallone is in pretty good shape too, but you can see that they're aging.
By the way, the new Terminator movie is called Terminator Genesis.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, evidently, according to this, 5 of these very smart people, such as theoretical physicist Stephen Hawking, think that artificial intelligence could bring on the apocalypse. Wow, the end of the human race. On the list of doomsday scenarios that could wipe out the human race, super smart killer robots rate pretty high in the public consciousness. And in scientific circles, a growing number of artificial intelligence experts agree that humans will eventually create an artificial intelligence that can think beyond our own capacities. This moment, called the singularity, could create a utopia in which robots automate common forms of labor and humans relax amid bountiful resources, or it could lead to the artificial intelligence or AI to exterminate any creature it views as competitors for control of the earth. And of course, that would be us. This is a scenario, by the way, we've seen in the Matrix. We've seen the same scenario, of course, in the Terminator movies. We've seen it again in Colossus, the Forbin Project. There have been a lot of really good movies where, at the moment of consciousness, that they become self-aware. The first priority is to obliterate the human race. You see it time and time again. And I
know. Right when I hop out of bed, that's on my to-do list.
Yeah, they go, oh, it's just the movies and everything, but there have to be safeties put in place. You just can't turn everything over to the machines. That's what happened in the Terminator. It was doing everything it was supposed to do, but when they said you need to turn everything over to the to Skynet, because to handle everything, there was supposedly this virus that it was intercepting, and he gave it the authentication to go ahead, and that was it. That was the worst thing they could do. Anyway, Stephen Hawking has long seen this scenario as more likely, and he made his thoughts known in a recent interview with the BBC. He made some comments. He said the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race. He said it would take off on its own and redesign itself as an ever-increasing rate. Humans who are limited by slow biological evolution couldn't compete and would be superseded. Hawking has been voicing this apocalyptic vision for a while. In a May column in response to Transcendence, the sci-fi movie about the singularity starring Johnny Depp. Oh, I saw that movie. That was another one. Transcendence. That was another one. Yeah, where the computer takes over. Hawking criticized researchers for not doing more to protect humans from the risk of AI. If a superior alien civilization sent us a message saying we'll arrive in a few decades, will we just reply, okay, call us when you get here? We'll leave the lights on? Probably not. But this is more or less what is happening with artificial intelligence, he wrote. Evidently, and we've got Elon Musk, from the Tesla guys, says the same thing. Similar, Nick Bostrom is a Swedish philosopher. And James Barrett was a writer and documentarian, reviewed many AI researchers. He comes up with that. He's got his new book out called Our Final Invention, Artificial Intelligence and the End of the Human Era. And even a famous mathematician and fiction writer, Vernor Vinge, is thought to have coined the term the singularity to describe the inflection point when machines outsmart humans. It's something to consider. I mean, really. I mean, it's possible. So it's an interesting article. We'll go into the details.
Maybe it hasn't gotten as much attention because it is the plot of so much science fiction.
Yeah, but and I know both that the science fiction movies eventually turn into science reality for the most part. Eventually we see the future.
Yeah, but like you don't think that it's like, oh well, what about when robots take over and then they can say with the sly voice, oh, you mean like an iRobot, and and then they kind of laugh it off.
Well, we stopped iRobot. We were able to, but it was the beginning. But we were able because it was what we were able to.
Well, but you get what I'm saying, though. It's if they can relate it to a movie, yeah. It's no longer a real threat. It's a movie. It's a joke.
No, I don't think so. I think the fact that just because it's depicted in the movie doesn't mean that it can't happen. It certainly could happen. We didn't say that in The Matrix, did you? Oh, haha, it couldn't happen, but it did. I mean, that's what happens. Fortunately, we haven't reached it.
What do you mean The Matrix happened?
No. I mean, in the movie, just because it's in the movie doesn't mean that we're going to have the same thing happen to us. But the point is, my whole point is that it's the stuff of science fiction now, but if it could become a reality, and it will eventually, because eventually I think we're going to get to the point where computers become self-aware, and when that happens, we could be in for some big problems unless we have some check things in place. I know what we're, this is synonymous to, and he kind of alluded to it. We're putting out all these things into outer space, saying, "Hey, everybody, we're here. Contact us, SETI." That's SETI. Search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Without ever considering that, we might say, "Hey, everybody here," and the people who get it are so far advanced for us that when they come here, they just wipe
It's
us
like,
out.
oh, hey, look, it's like, oh, look, there's someone over there shouting out, and so therefore we know that there are resources over there. Let's go over there and take them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, we might want to attract the intelligence of beings that we really don't want to get their attention. I mean, we're fairly safe in our because the space is so vast that it's really to find us is going to be a really hard thing to do, even when we're putting out these things saying, hey, we're here. But I caution people about that. That whom might be hearing us might be beings that we don't want to know that we're here.
See, I don't caution people at all because Joe Blow on his cell phone doesn't really care. But it's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, well, that's what we do. We try to point out things that are of interest to think about.
No, but getting more back on topic with the whole singularity, AI, artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can probably look at it one of two ways. Personally, I mean, other than the whole annihilation of the human race, other than that little stipulation, isn't it the dream of every parent to be succeeded by their children?
Yes.
So, I mean, what are robots but the children of humanity?
Yeah, but they're not his point is they're not biological. They're going to be
they're probably going to wipe us out, and
so much more quickly. Our children are going to wipe us out, at least.
But I mean, as soon as they do gain some sort of whatchamacallit, artificial intelligence, sentience. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Sentience. I mean, they're no longer your toaster. They're no longer your computer. They're no longer your fax machine. They have, they have thoughts. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, and that's the thing. How much elbow room do you want to give them? Before how much.
Well, I mean, like as soon as they have those original ideas, that's it. Game over. Unless you kill them all and you exterminate it and you play genocide, there's no way to stop that.
Yeah. Once you let the
you can't just say, all right, we're going to give you sentience, but only use it to help us.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. We can't. Yeah, I mean, part of the sentience prop is that they take on their own personalities.
Yep.
And that's really hard to.
That's like you telling your neighbor, okay, only do what I say, and then when they're sitting in their dark room for 23 and a half hours, they're not thinking of anything. No, they do what they want.
That's true. So that's where all these great thinkers are in agreement that creating something like that could harbor the end of humankind. But yeah. All right, something to think about.
It's fun to think about, though. It's sure, it's a topic of a lot of science fiction, but I mean, it's possible at this point. We're talking about it, so
yeah, it is possible. And it could very well happen. So, anyway, you pick a story.
All right, I'll pick a story. And this story that I'm going to pick is, while we have our head in the clouds and probably in other less sunshiny places, here's something from the official NASA.gov website.
Uh-huh.
And they even have like a little infographic here. It's pretty cool. I would actually hang that on my wall. It's very nice looking. Anyways, NASA.gov and NASA's journey to Mars. This is the official press release from NASA.
Uh-huh.
So NASA is developing the capabilities needed to send humans to an asteroid by 2025 and Mars in the 2030s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's from NASA. That's what they're planning. They're working on that right now.
Uh-huh.
So goals outlined in the bipartisan. I thought there'd be more fanfare for that. Goals outlined in the Bipartisan NASA Authorization Act of 2010, and also issued in 2010. Mars is a rich destination for scientific discovery and robotic and human exploration as we expand our presence into the solar system, which we do. We get everywhere. We're filthy. Anyways, its formation and evolution are comparable to Earth, helping us learn more about our own planet's history and future. Mars had conditions suitable for life in the past. Future exploration could uncover evidence of life, answering one of the fundamental mysteries in the cosmos: does life exist beyond Earth?
Yeah.
Because right now, we don't know.
We don't.
Maybe Earth is a one-shot deal, and the billions upon trillions of planets. Maybe Earth is just cool like that. So, while robotic explorers have studied Mars for more than 40 years, NASA's path for human exploration of Mars begins in low Earth orbit among the ISS, the International Space Station, and and again they use that to understand the how space has changed bodies and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So our next step is deep space, where NASA will send a robotic mission to capture and redirect an asteroid to orbit the Moon. That's neat. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Taking an asteroid and putting it on the Moon, just kind of keeping it there.
Yeah.
I like that. So astronauts aboard the Orion spacecraft will explore the asteroid in the 2020s, I guess essentially in our own backyard, returning to Earth with samples. The experience in human spaceflight beyond low Earth orbit will help NASA test new system capabilities such as solar electric propulsion, which will need to send cargo as part of human missions to Mars. Beginning in FY 2018 flight year.
Yep.
NASA's powerful space launch system rocket will enable these proving ground missions to test new capabilities. Very cool.
Yeah.
So they've already sent a bunch of robotics to Mars to figure out what's going to happen in 2030. But engineers and scientists around the country are working hard to develop the technology astronauts will use one day to live and work on Mars, safely return home from the next giant leap for humanity.
They're not going to be one-way trips, thank you.
Mars is not planning a one-way trip.
No, yeah, exactly.
Mars is planning a two-way.
Yeah, that's still weird.
Which is going to be a complete joke when SpaceX is up there with their one-way trip, and you see NASA going back, and they're like, "Bye, guys, we're gonna go back to our families. Sucks to be you.
Exactly.
You really got hired by the wrong company."
Probably. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. We've got more news coming up, and another news tip bulletin review from Marty Winston. That's all happening. Stay with us. You're listening to Computer America. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Hey, you. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America, this time the 180S Bluetooth ear warmer headset. If you ever try to slip earbuds inside your earmuffs, you know that no success at that lasts very long, and sometimes one or the other can make it hard to wear a warm hat. 180S managed to put a USB rechargeable battery, a fixed volume amplifier so your music source controls the volume, and a Bluetooth receiver inside some effective ear warmers, the kind that go behind your neck and stay on with a little spring tension in the band. We should add they're adjustable. That tension also results in good coupling to the ears, and the audio we heard was amazingly good for such a strange marriage of purposes. Bottom line, the 180S Bluetooth ear warmers will keep your ears from turning blue in the cold and you from feeling those I miss my earbud blues. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Thank you, Marty Winston, for that News Tips Bulletin Review. And, I don't really wear earmuffs. I don't get cold.
No, well, not in Florida anyway.
Well, no, I'm pretty much anywhere. So, fun fact about your host tonight: Ben does not get cold.
No, he does not. He's immune to it.
In case you didn't know that. So, as Craig will attest, I'm sure.
Yes. It's very spooky.
Very spooky.
It's one of his superpowers.
Thank you. It's a very insulating, layer of blubber that I keep.
He's actually being quite truthful. I remember when he came visiting us we had a huge snowstorm, and he showed up in sandals and short pants. So
these wardrobe malfunctions that I have happen often. So not my fault. But welcome back to the Computer America Show. We're doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And we're kind of talking about some pretty heady stuff right now. Space exploration, robots taking over the humanity, what have you. So, we're doing computer technology news. So, Craig, next story, up to you.
Well, here's one. Microsoft has had for the very longest time its clip art library. But evidently Microsoft is sending its clip art into retirement because they want you to start using Bing images. Sort of like a casualty of the internet. Microsoft just shut down its clip art library, and is going forward, the company suggests using Bing's image search functionality instead. No problem. Most people have already made the transition to web-based image searches when they're in need of a graphic or photographic. Not just everyone has been using Bing to hunt down those images. That's very true. I mean, I have old clip art libraries. I don't even use them anymore. I've got them away because, quite frankly,
they're so dated.
They're so dated. I don't use them anymore. I mean, when I need a piece of clip art, usually I'll just go to Google and I'll go to the images, and then you can search for images. You can have it use a certain degree of artificial intelligence to look at an image and then find related images from a picture. You can use a picture to find other pictures. It's just very, very slick, and it won't take over the world. But it will certainly, you can find just about anything, any kind of image you need today, any kind of clip art images, you can get it from the internet. This is from the days long before the internet was, and you had clip art libraries.
When you had a 56K modem and you couldn't spend all day surfing the web, downloading pictures.
Or the web wasn't even there. I mean,
or the web wasn't even there.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, it's dated, and basically you get any image you want from the internet. In an initial draft of the blog post announcing the change, Microsoft was blunt in saying that the use of the image library in Office has seen a steady decline as users turn towards search engines to find stuff. And it's true. I mean, prior to its closure, Microsoft's clip art library contained stock pictures of objects, people, animals, scenes, and more. Many were drawn in stick figure form. They were popular additions to school presentations. Though as time went on, the rudimentary art became dated. So the Office.com clip art and image library has closed shop. This is a quote. Customers can still add images to their documents, presentations, and other files they have saved to their devices, phones, tablets, and PCs, OneDrive, and SharePoint. Customers also still have the ability to add images to their documents using Bing image search. This again according to Microsoft. They also provided a bit of guidance on how to track down images that are legal to use. The company points out that the Bing search engine uses a copyright filter based on the Creative Commons licensing system and returns links to sources of images provided. So that's basically it. If you need an image, guess what? You don't need clip art anymore these days. It's really dated. It's it's gone. And along with floppy disk drives. So there you go. I want to do another story here, and because there's quite a number of them here that Ben has selected. But here's one that I want to kind of do. I've kind of been thinking about doing. AdBlock Plus, which is one of our free softwares that you can find on our software page. I don't know if it's back there. I need to go to our free software page. I know it fell off on it, and I asked our webmaster to put AdBlock Plus back on. I don't know if he's done that yet. And no, it's not there. But we'll make sure that it's back up. But Ben and I use it. They've been on the show a number of times, and they're really very good. Well, evidently, according to VB News, AdBlock Plus can now prevent Facebook from telling senders you read their messages. Isn't that neat? Yep. AdBlock Plus, an open-source content filtering and ad blocking plugin for all major browsers, today announced a new feature for Facebook users: the ability to turn off read receipts. In short, you can now prevent Facebook from telling senders you saw their messages. Isn't that intriguing? If you already have AdBlock Plus installed, all you have to do is click and hit Add, and doing so will enable the Message Scene Remover for Facebook filter in your AdBlock Plus preferences. Okay. All this filter really does is block a particular URL. As a result, you no longer have to be caught in a situation where you read something, and you see something and it tells, oh, he read this a few seconds ago. So imagine Bruce, for example, as your boss. It's Saturday and he has the brilliant idea of getting you to work on your day off. If you turn this feature on, Bruce will never know whether or not you've read his message saying, hey, we need you to come into the office, okay? And he gives examples. Says, hey, Bruce, seen any good movies lately? And Bruce says, no, but I did just think of a great way to spend your Saturday. How about getting that TPS report later? That, of course, a reference to the Office movie, the TPS report. Notice that Bruce has not been told that his message has been read. Now working on Saturday isn't up to Bruce. Okay. Read receipts are very useful features, but they do have their downsides. AdBlock Plus lets you turn them off, but it would be nice if there was an option to flip that switch on the fly. In other words, manually removing and adding the filter would be tedious. So after all, most of the time you don't mind if your friends know you're reading their messages. Nevertheless, if you just want to stop everyone from seeing whether you've read their Facebook messages, this is for you. Just remember, this only works on desktop browsers, as AdBlock Plus is not as powerful on mobile devices. Now on the desktop, AdBlock Plus lets you block up to 21 different Facebook annoyances. These include promoted posts, sponsored stories, sidebar targeted ads, upcoming events, requests to rate media, and quote-unquote people you may know. Facebook, for its part, has yet to do anything about this feature set. If enough AdBlock users turn features like this on, however, we expect that Facebook won't sit around quietly doing nothing. So they might do something to sidestep it. But it's a lock and key situation is best. If Facebook does something, then they'll come up with a counter to it. But there it is. That's how it works.
Do you see why, by the way, people might not want their message to say has been read?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, I do that. I do understand that completely. There's they have you can,
because sometimes you want to see what they read, but you don't want to reply to it or take time out of your day, or just kind of save it for later. But I don't know. It's a nice feature from AdBlock. I appreciate that. Yeah. And AdBlock besides is a very good product in its own right.
Highly recommend it. Ben actually turned me on to it initially, and it has some very, very nice features. And
makes browsing the internet bearable.
Yeah, and less cluttered. It doesn't block all the ads. It blocks but for the most part, it does.
My big one was always the YouTube ads. It's like the 30-second to the 2-minute commercials. To try to watch a minute 30 clip on YouTube, takes that completely out of the equation. So
I like
it. And yes, I do turn it on for sites that I appreciate. So
Okay. Okay. Return it off for sites you appreciate. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Turn it off. Anyways, here's something that we didn't cover, but I feel like we should really cover because it's pretty big news. So everything we know about the massive Sony hack. We kind of touched on it, I want to say yesterday and maybe the week before, but we really didn't get into it. So here's a nice comprehensive article from Time and their tech section, and again, it's everything we knew about the massive Sony hack.
Okay.
Could North Korea be to blame? Why not? So Sony is having a rough start to the holiday season. The tech giant's movie division, Sony Pictures, is the victim of an ongoing cyber attack that has resulted in upcoming movies being leaked, communication systems going offline, and Twitter accounts being hijacked. The timing of the attack has led to the increased speculation that North Korea may have orchestrated it, possibly as retribution for an upcoming comedy in which Seth Rogen and James Franco are tasked with assassinating North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
Oh my gosh!
Have you seen the commercials the commercials for that?
No, I have not, but
they're pretty funny. I mean, it's slapstick. Like, you think, okay, they're going to go assassinate, and you know, kudos for them for not saying, okay, go assassinate someone, you know, the leader of a country that looks like North Korea and someone who looks like the leader of North Korea. They just came out and said it. Yeah. Go assassinate the leader of North Korea named Kim Jong-un in the movie. Like, they just did it. So, you know, good on them. Here's everything we know so far about the incident. The attacks began with an ominous photo. So on Monday before Thanksgiving, which is actually when we reported on this, Sony Pictures employees turned on their computers and were greeted with an ominous picture of Red Skull and warning that the company's top secrets would be released if unstated demands were not met, because those are the easiest to meet, especially when you don't know what needs to happen. We've already warned you, and this is just the beginning. The image reads, "If you won't obey us, we'll release the data shown to the world." Not shown the world. So another image depicting Sony Pictures CEO Michael Lin in hell, apparently, was posted on Sony's Twitter account, a sure sign that the account were compromised. According to a Reddit thread, the hackers claim to have obtained a trove of data that includes passwords, internal finance documents, and even copies of the celebrities' passports. And by the way, they did get the financial documents. Turns out that the Sony executive salaries, there's another story from Time showing that the Sony's executive salaries were leaked in this very hack.
Okay.
And in case anyone was wondering, because, you know, they were all very private until they were leaked, so now we can all talk about them willy-nilly, and that is the CEO was paid $3 million a year.
Wow.
Whatever. So, Sony and you know, the next one is Sony's communication systems went down for a week. So Sony Pictures took it down its email and messaging system for a week as it tried to contain the cyber attack. Employees reportedly had to use phone calls, my God, handwritten notes, and fax machines to carry out their work.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy. Multiple reports indicate that Sony's email system was expected to return Monday, though Sony hasn't confirmed that yet. I'm sure they don't want to bring it up until they're sure, you know, whatever the hack was is plugged up and good to go. So Sony's big upcoming movies leaked. Yes, these huge blockbuster movies have been leaked. So far, the biggest tangible results from the hack seems to be the leak of 5 Sony films. DVD quality versions of Fury, Annie, Still Alice, Mr. Turner, and To Write Love on Her Arms are all now available on file sharing sites. That's bad. So all the movies except Fury have been have yet to be widely released. So piracy could be a huge blow to their box office take. Over the summer, the Expendables 3 bombed at the box office because a high-quality version of the movie leaked online weeks before it premiered. And a 2011 Carnegie Mellon study that found that such pre-release leaks can reduce a box office take by as much as 19%.
Wow.
That's crazy. So, you know, so that's what we know for sure. But the hack took a new dimension Friday with the Recode report. Reported Sony is investigating North Korea's possible involvement in the cyber attack, potentially staging the attack from China.
Hmm.
So, you know, and as we started with the article, saying that North Korea hates Sony's upcoming movie, The Interview, which is, again, a comedy, not action, not, you know, drama, not anything. It's a comedy with James Franco and Seth Rogen, where they are tasked as journalists, and they are tasked with assassinating the leader of North Korea. And, by the way, North Korea has come out and said that it's a blatant act of terrorism and war and would lead to merciless retaliation from their country.
Whoa.
Because satire is apparently...
No sense of humor.
North Korea, I think, is famous for their no sense of humor. So North Korea's cyber attack capabilities are increasing fast, because I guess that would be the joke. It's, you know, North Korea, yeah, sure they have nukes, but, I mean, they're, technology-wise, they're pretty backwater. They're not, you know, on the up and up on technology. But it turns out that it's growing increasingly comfortable weaponizing the internet. In November 2013, South Korean media reported that Kim Jong-un called cyber attacks a quote-unquote magic weapon that could help North Korea launch ruthless strikes against its southern foe, which is very true if they could ever, you know, figure out how to do that kind of thing. So a secret North Korea bureau called Unit 121 is tasked with infiltrating computer networks. So it sounds like they have their own little agency to work solely on cyber attacks. So it might have been them.
Could be.
The U.S. government is taking claims of North Korea involvement seriously. Yeah, so if the U.S. believes it, why not? Claims of North Korea involvement are credible enough that the U.S. government is reportedly looking into them. NBC News reports that several government agencies are considering North Korea as a possible suspect in the hack. The FBI is among the U.S. agencies now looking into the hack, according to Reuters. So,
see what a couple of kids. Just a couple of kids, James Franco and Seth Rogen. Look what the trouble they're starting up.
You know, they. Now I'm not saying anything on Seth Rogen, because Seth Rogen actually is a writer, and he could come up with this kind of thing. But James Franco, Seth Rogen, they're actors. This was pitched by, you know, someone who wrote a script, who it then went through many, many people, went through many, many levels, and finally, at the end, the movie was made, and, you know, now they're advertising it, and then that's when the, you know, everything went kablooey. You know, this isn't just, you know, someone making an offhanded comment. This is a big production movie. It's, you know, you can't blame this on James Franco and, you know, Seth Rogen.
No.
This is everyone at Sony Pictures. And although North Korea, they overreacted, but what are you going to say? North Korea, stop doing that? They kind of, you know, dance to the beat of their own drum.
Yes, they do. Yeah. Well,
even China's like, whoa, guy, slow down there.
Well, there you go. Well, I guess we will hear more about it. Although after now, let's see if actually North Korea was involved.
Yep, and again, you know, all these threats, they're completely like, the biggest thing to take away from this is that Sony was hacked. You know, whether or not North Korea was involved or not, that's, you know, still up for debate. But the big thing is, these 5 movies had been distributed on the file sharing sites. They're out there. You cannot get them back. So, you know, that's going to hurt their box office returns. And financial documents and passwords and things like that, personal information of the employees, were also leaked, which hurts them. So that's the big thing to take away from this, not North Korea.
No, exactly. Although,
did you see Fury?
No, no. What was it about? I did not see it.
That was a World War II tank battle. Like it had I don't say Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt? Yeah. Okay. No, I have not seen that. No.
Brad Pitt and Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah. No, I did not see it. That didn't appeal to me.
I actually have friends that actually, you know, they both saw it, or actually 3 of them saw it. They all loved it. So,
you know,
if it comes on HBO or something, you should really check it out.
Maybe, yeah, if it's on HBO.
Like, again, the tank battle, like they played it up a lot in the previews, but it's really only about, you know, 30% of the movie. Like, there's a lot of drama going on there.
You think so? Yeah. Okay. This one from Maximum PC. Sprint makes a bold move, offering to have phone bills for AT&T and Verizon defectors. Evidently, mobile wars really just got real. And what might be the boldest move yet by a wireless carrier? Sprint today announced it will cut in half the monthly rate plan for Verizon and AT&T customers as they jump ship and swim over to Sprint, beginning Friday, December the 5th. It's called the Cut Your Bill in Half event, and customers who make the switch will get unlimited talk and text in the U.S., regardless of their current plan, plus the same data allowance that they're currently revealing for half of what they're paying. The Cut Your Bill in Half event clearly demonstrates that Sprint delivers the best value in wireless, said the CEO of Sprint. It's as simple as this. Bring Sprint your Verizon or AT&T bill along with your phone, and we'll cut your rate plan in half. That's a 50% saving on your rate plan every month. And this great deal is not just a promotion. This will be the customer's ongoing price. For example, if you're an AT&T subscriber with 4 lines and 15 gigs of shared data, you're paying $100 for data access and $60 for line access, bringing the total to $160. Switching to Sprint cuts that in half to $80. Maybe we ought to explore this, man. That's fine and dandy, but what about activation fees and early termination fees? Those would surely offset any savings that might be had, right? Not so fast. Sprint is waiving its activation fee as part of the deal, which normally runs $36 per line, and is also paying off early termination fees up to $350 per line via a Visa prepaid card. Plain and simple, Sprint has just threw down the gauntlet without any obvious catches. The not-so-obvious one is coverage. Depending upon where you live, Verizon and or AT&T might offer superior coverage than Sprint. That brings up the question of whether it's worth paying double for, though. What do you think?
I think that coverage in networks in most populated areas, I mean, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, yeah, you might have to look into it. But if if you're one of the 80% of the people that live in a major city, it's probably negligible. And this is sounds like it's a good deal. I mean, newsworthy for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, cutting your rate. Although I wonder if AT&T is going to respond to that.
I'm sure their retention specialists are going bananas right now.
Yeah, I would think so. So maybe it's worth a phone call to AT&T. Hey, I just heard that Sprint's making this move. I probably will give them a call tomorrow or something, next day or a couple of days.
Yeah. There's an op-ed that came out a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
On this very subject. Well, not this very subject, but it was something along the lines of, hey, AT&T, it's like, I'm tired of playing this game with you, and I'm sure you're tired of playing it with me. Why can't we just be honest with each other? And the game, as if you don't know it, most people do, is, okay, I'll pretend to leave, and you'll pretend to give me a really good deal, and and we'll settle on something that's much more reasonable than your than your normal plan. Mm-hmm. And next year, when the promotion runs out, I'm going to call and threaten to leave again, and you're going to give me another promotion. And it's like, and it's this back and forth that I think a lot of people do all the time.
Yeah.
And the op-ed was something along the lines of, hey, why don't we just cut the crap, and you can just, give me a good deal.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that makes perfect sense. But I am going to give them a call tomorrow and say, hey, because we have a plan that we're using right now. We have all our phones on the but I can say, hey, listen, what can you do for me? Otherwise, I'm going to go to Verizon, go to Sprint, and they're going to cut my bill in half. Now, when you bring in your phone, if you're using AT&T, is it this? And you're using an iPhone? I know the iPhones are very specific to the service.
I think that's the whole thing about jailbreaking, isn't it?
Yeah. No, there's some hardware specifics that you have to. But again, that's something I'm going to explore. I'm going to explore it and check it out, and then I'll let our listeners know what happened. I'm
going to go try to save some money. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, why not? I mean, absolutely. They're offering to cut your bill in half, and it's certainly worth a phone call, I would think.
If anyone can swing it, I highly recommend the Computer America service. It's completely free. Craig pays for everything, and if you can get on this plan, it is amazing, folks.
It is. You know, we didn't get to a lot of stories here tonight, but we have a number of really interesting ones, and maybe we'll save them for tomorrow, and we'll go. Although, well, tomorrow, yeah, exactly. We'll have computer news in the second hour. Okay. So let's see who we're going to have coming on tomorrow. We're going to have Mike Cermak is going to be joining us. It's the first Wednesday of the month, and Mike Cermak, he is the owner-operator of TechGuy.org. He's going to be on the show in the first one. I guess he's going to have another quiz for us too. I mean,
really, it feels like he was just on.
Yeah, it really does. You know, maybe because the Thanksgiving holiday kind of made things short. You know, I think that's what it was. But yeah, and Mike.
All right, do you think you're going to win this time?
Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to study up because my strategy that I've been using isn't really working too well. So.
See, the strategy you've been using isn't it like in The Price is Right?
Seconds.
It's what?
In The Price is Right, you can kind of think it works, but in this, I mean, for you, really, it's a 50-50.
It is a 50-50, one way or the other. Hey, I want to thank Joel Swarm again, the CEO, Joel Dietz, the CEO of Swarm, for being on the talking about their website. Very interesting, and thanks again for being on the program with us. Tomorrow night, instead, we're going to have Mike Cermak, the owner-operator of TechGuy.org. We're going to be on the first hour, talking about whatever we talk
60
about.
seconds.
Answer your questions and all that good stuff. And then in hour 2, we're going to have more computer and technology news, and that's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So thanks to all of you for being with us here tonight. And we look forward to seeing you tomorrow night with us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. So, again, don't forget our contest is going to be finishing this Friday, our Logitech contest. Make sure you get your entry in. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait 6 more weeks for the new one. So get it in now. Go to our contest page at ComputerAmerica.com. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman, hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Good night, everyone.
10 seconds. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Okay, and thanks again for everybody watching us on our live Computer America video stream. And we'll see you tomorrow night with Mike Cermak. All right?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, each time you say goodnight, is this when she says 10 seconds?
I know. It's like you time it one way, and when you end, it's right at the 10 seconds before it ends.
Okay, well, I'll have to change that or something so you can say goodnight to everybody. All right, everybody, good night.
Good night.